So we fucking suck.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear.
Yep.
But as mentioned in our previous story time about trying to get chicks failing miserably, which by the way, this really should be a series that only covers Guardian's
no shit.
story, because his stories of trying to get chicks are fucking abominous in the best way.
Yeah.
Like, they're great to listen to because you're like baffled at how awful his endeavors have been. Now, as aforementioned, of us three, somehow, against all fucking odds, I have been the luckiest one, quote unquote, although all my relationships have ended in some weird fucking turmoil. But anyway, despite that, I often wonder what could have happened with all those other times I fucked it up and didn't go ahead and go out with a certain person that for damn sure wanted to get on this pole, if you know what I mean. They didn't want to get on the pole,
No,
but the point is, eventually they would have.
There's not really that much pole to begin with.
Now I have a couple of tales to tell, but they're relatively short, but they're relevant to the subject matter. And the first one, I was still in high school. This was about a year or so before the Pearl incident, which I told in the first video. And there was this chick, man, named Lori. And we met in a fucking, what's it called? Science class. And it was like a lab class. So all our fucking shit was lab. You know, we'd go in there, go to the lab, and basically just fucking hang out. Because, you know, the U.S. education system fucking blows. Anyway, yeah, man, it was me, this chick, her best friend, and one of my friends, Monk, which we may, in fact, try to coerce into doing a video. He has like a severe anxiety problem, but I'm pretty damn sure I could get him to fucking get in here and force him to speak at gunpoint if need be. The point is, it was me, a good friend of mine, her, and a good friend of hers. And that was our little group. And Lori was kind of like the... she was very much of this particular music scene. For, you know, it's popular among Mexican Americans. And it's, I guess you would describe them kind of like the norteños, only, you know, female, I guess. Is the best way to do it. Yeah, like a little cherita type of shit, you know? For those of you who don't know what the fuck that means, just, it's a music scene. That's all you gotta know. And you gotta know that, back then especially, I was like a big time metalhead. And if I didn't like metal, I liked like fucking rockabilly or psychobilly, you know? And beyond that, I rarely explored other stuff. But that was me that back then. So we didn't have any common taste in that regard into the scenes we were part of. But we got along fucking famously. Like, fuck, I don't understand how it even happened. She just, I mean, I made her laugh. You know, we just got along, man. And a lot of that had to do with us tapping into the way we were raised as Mexican Americans. So maybe that's where it started. So we, you know, she'd tell me all these weird little Mexican quirky jokes, and I would get them, and I would play off of that and go where that, and that just expanded into everything else. And here's the other thing. Lori was fucking hot. She was like smoking hot, man. And I don't know if you remember Alicia Villarreal from Band Límite.
Yep.
That's how she looked, only with like fucking black hair. You know, she was cute, hot. If anybody out there going, who the fuck is that? Don't worry about it. It's just a little cute little hottie is what I'm saying here. Hot! Anyway.
And you've hammered in the point that she was hot.
Dude, because it fucking hurts my nuts because she was fucking hot. But anyway, the point is, we got along fucking famously as fuck. And all signs were pointing to this is going to lead somewhere, you know what I mean? And the biggest fucking sign was that her friend just straight out told me she likes you. And I'm like, woo, I'm fucking in, bro. So anyway, one day I'm leaving fucking class and she's behind me with a gaggle of her friends and they're talking. And you know when anybody really, but in this case chicks, are talking and they want you to hear how they talk a certain way.
Yeah.
That's what was going on back there.
No, but I'll bite.
You just go with it?
Yeah.
Well, you know, when somebody wants you to hear something, they just, you know, they project it in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no whispering here. There's no secret here. Clearly, the person you're talking about is right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? So this is the situation, and I'm listening to them, and it's fucking point blank evident that they're talking about me, and that she thinks I'm the bee's fucking knees for some reason, and that she thinks I'm fucking sweet, and that she wouldn't mind riding these bones. I mean, that was the gist of it, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking in. Whew! I was excited, man. Mm-hmm. I was fucking like primed for this shit. Bonerific, because I'm a fucking teenager, so I'm horny as fuck all the time.
Yep.
But really, on top of that, I really liked her, you know? So anyway, I'm trying to muster up the courage to, you know, ask at the right moment. One day we get a day off from, you know, the lab work, and everybody just gets to chill. And for some reason, I didn't decide to hang out with the little lab group because, you know, we had gotten along that well up to that point. So I'm just kind of sitting in the chairs instead of the lab tables. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And me being like the ultimate dumbass high school era fucking dork, I'm sitting there with my little, my cringy ass 90s CD player, you know, pumping out my little jams into my stanky little ears, and I'm reading a fucking comic book, and I can even remember the comic book too. It was a Green Lantern 0 Hour number 0,
all right,
which is not even a good comic.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm reading, and
really paint the picture. The huge zero reading zeros.
Yeah, for real, man. That's how loser this shit was. And I'm reading this fucking turd, and really, that's the only reason I remember that comic book. Because of this situation. I'm reading this little comic, listening to my little lame tunes, and old Lori struts up next to the desk next to me, right? And she doesn't sit in the seat. She props herself up on the table portion in that cutesy, flirty manner. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know the look. And I'm like,
I don't, but yeah,
it's cute. Trust me. It's that suggestive, like I'm being cute and you knows it type of look.
Uh-huh.
Worst description ever. But anyway, she does this shit, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me take my little crappy earphones out. I'm like, hey, what's up? And she goes, point fucking blank, has more balls than me.
Yep.
When are you going to ask me out? And I'm like, what? In my head, I'm like, what? Shit, right now. But what came out of my mouth was like, never. I'm not even fucking joking.
Very appropriate, man.
Dude, it was like complete opposite town. Like Bizarro World. Like, in my mind, I was like, fuck, I'm in. This. Never. Yeah. Actual words. Dude, I've never seen a face drop dead immediately like that. She gets up and, like, fucking harumps away.
Mm-hmm.
Around this point, Monk comes up to me somewhere around this point. I'm in fucking shock and awe at what the fuck just happened. And I go, dude, Lori just asked me out, and I said never. And he's like, what the fuck? Never seen an angrier man. Dude, to this day, I don't understand what the fuck that was. And here's the worst part. Yes, somehow worse than this. My senior year, I have her for a fucking class again. And she avoids me the whole fucking class. By the way, after that incident, avoided me forever. She avoids me in that fucking class too. But one day, I come in with a Jay and Silent Bob shirt, right? Because I'm a fucking idiot nerd.
Oh, yeah, I know this part.
I have a Jay and Silent Bob shirt. Now, the Jay and Silent Bob shirt had both Jay and Silent Bob inside a big heart.
Yeah.
And Jay was licking Silent Bob's cheek. And it said Jay and Silent Bob underneath, and it had the J crossed out and replaced with a G, so it said Gay and Silent Bob, right? Funny to us View Askew Universe nerds, to everybody else, loser.
Yep.
But anyway, I walk into class with this thing. Lori looks at me, and for the first time since that incident, she talks to me. She comes up to me, looks at my shirt, and goes, oh, that's why. And that's all she said.
Woo!
And I'm like, oh, no, not gay. Oh, no, nothing wrong with that, but fuck. So that's my little story.
That's a good tale.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
So what do you got? Sock it to me.
No, I don't know which one to tell because there's a couple.
Tell one of them.
I'm gonna go with the most serious.
Okay.
That makes you go serious, dude. Now, in reality, this was what 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a wee lad. In reality, it probably would have led to nothing, or worse, something worse than nothing, if you know what I mean. But I was in a place, not my home. You know what that means, but no one else does. I have mentioned it before, though. AZ, if you... Arizona, that's where I was. I don't know where else.
Why you keep mystery?
I just gave up.
You were in fucking Arizona.
I was in the AZ, and there was this chick that I was into.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny little chick. Again, this is kind of weird describing people from back then because at the time she was young, but I was also young.
Yeah.
But describing them in retrospect is a little weird. Anyway, tiny little chick. She was hot at the time. Obviously, anyway, not gonna dig that hole. Hot at the time.
You were underage.
She was underage. I thought she was hot back then.
Yeah, but now it sounds weird.
Now it sounds weird saying that. Point is, it
wouldn't have sounded.
It wouldn't have sounded weird
if you didn't even bring it up because everybody just knew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were younger because you set it up, but now you just made it fucking weird.
Yeah.
So now we got that stank all over us.
I'm just rolling with it though. She was this young chick was hot. Anyway. Hot chick, tiny chick. Kind of thin. I'm not huge into the thin scene, but this one, it worked. Anyway.
Chubby chaser, eh?
I mean, I like it in the middle. Yeah, I'm pretty good. A little meat. Anyway. I don't know what that was.
Anyway. You were chubby chasing and then this slip of a girl caught your eye somehow. Yeah.
And she was pretty hot. Now,
you've said this like 1,000 times.
We would hang out with her family a lot at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always around her. We'd talk a lot and shit. We were friends, as friendly as people who have nothing in common other than the fact that they have to be together can be, right?
What grade were you in around this time?
Like 6th grade, specifically. And I was friends with her brother actually, mostly, which was caught masturbating, by the way. Anyway, in public. Anyway,
the fuck.
I was by default. I was friends with her and her sister. So anyway, one day I'm just gonna skip to the worst instance of this happening. And it happened several times where she would like hit up on this. But you know me, I suck. And I would just kind of be like, oh yeah, I gotta go now.
What?
Yep. Anyway, the worst and most, I'll give you two. The second worst, one time we were in the computer checking the old MySpace, because that was a thing back then. Clacking away, right? And this chick...
Was it NIMAC?
It was. No, it wasn't. Anyway, this little chick... first of all, we were playing something, and she comes in... They were playing something, and she comes in, and goes upstairs, and comes back down, like, dressed up, like, completely different. Tiny little skirt. Again, this is weird. But at the time, it was normal. Right? Little skirt and shit. And goes up, sits on my stankin' lap, which at the time I had more lap. Because I had less lonja.
You're really lap deficient
I've got no lap. But at the time, there was a lap there. Sits on my stankin' lap, dude. And is hitting up on that. Woo! You know what my reaction was? Log on my little thing. And, now I didn't physically push her off. But I did that thing where you're like, oh, I gotta go. And she like kind of slumped off. And I left.
Oh.
And she was like grinding up on that shit. Not like sexual grind, but there was definitely an implication there. It wasn't good. But I was like, alright. And I knew it too, but I was like, alright, it happened, right? The worst case of this, it's not good, dude. It's not good.
It's not good because you continued to do it and you still...
Several times. But here's the thing. Whenever I would try to hit up on that, like actually try, I would kind of get shut down.
Probably because you kept on shutting her down.
No, well, because... Yeah, I guess. But it was very confusing. Because I started hitting up on that first.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a complete like, no, dude, friend zone. And then she started doing that, and it was kind of like this weird, like uncertain. There was an uncertainty, even to that. At the time lap situation, there was uncertainty. So you could kind of, despite the fact that it seemed very clear cut, there was definitely an uncertainty. factor. This next tale, there was zero uncertainty. It's bad, dude. So we were, I was playing with her friend, with her brother, playing the old Tony Hawk's Underground 2. I used to like that game. Just want to throw that in there. Anyway, I was playing with him, and she walks in and tells him that his mom's calling him or some shit. So he leaves, and so does the people with other people were in the room, and she freaking locks the door. And it's just me and her, right? And I'm like, ooh, let me keep playing this level. I gotta get Wee Man up in level. It was very appropriate. I was playing as Wee Man, by the way. Anyway, she freaking lays. Oh man, can't believe it, dude. I'm sitting again. I have a lap at the time. Sitting, she lays in front of me, and puts her stankin' hooves, aka feet. She knows I have a thing for feet. Uh-huh. My thing for feet is well documented. I don't know how they knew this, but they knew this. And she puts
probably because it's well documented.
I don't know how it's well documented, but
Annals
it was.
of history.
Yeah, she puts her freaking hooves, aka feet, on my lap, and asks me to give her a foot massage. And I ain't talking lap. I'm talking dong. Like it's legitimately on my ding-a-ling, dude. And instead of going hell yeah, I'm into that, I go I pretend to hear someone calling me, and it is insanely clear that no one's calling. In fact, I go, someone's calling me. She goes, no, there isn't, and she stands up and does the old little nearing to the old kisser, right? And I'm like, no, someone's calling me, and I leave.
What?
And not only do I leave, I lock her in the room
Oh.
when I leave. Now, you could just unlock the door in there, but I made sure to lock the door, and I went into the restroom and locked myself in, and just kind of outstayed until we had to leave. It was weird, dude. It was not a voluntary reaction, but that was the reaction I had.
I want to say I understand because of my previous tale.
Yeah.
But no, because I didn't have a chance to fix my fucking epic foil up time and time again.
Yep.
In which case I would have been like, look, I fucked up.
Again, there was huge uncertainty up until that one. And even then, it was kind of like...
There was no uncertainty.
There was no uncertainty.
Any of these
but
situations.
here's the thing. Like, we were friendly, but we weren't friends. And I think my reaction was, this is just going to be a bang. And it's not going to lead to anything. And I kind of didn't want that. So I had kind of noble intentions. But at the same time, I could have gone banged.
I mean, that's kind of a saving grace.
Yeah, because I didn't have the feeling that this chick was gonna be into me. It just kind of felt like she wanted to hit that D, which is good in its own way, but I was kind of not into that at that time. I guess it was weird.
You'll take whatever comes.
Dude, I will bang a freaking Jason.
It doesn't mean Voorhees.
Nope. Anyway, that was one. There was another one, which was a little bit shittier. This one lasted long, and we were still cool after that. Like, it was like, all right, well, she was surprisingly understandable, and we were still friends, right? This next one, I don't know what to this day, I don't know what the flip happened, dude. Again, in the old AZ, the town, this was it was the first year. The second year, there was so many people that they lost a bus full of retarded kids.
What the fuck?
It wasn't good, dude.
They went to a Cumbia Kings concert.
Yeah, they did. Anyway, it was in the news and everything. Anyway, this was not that year, so it's pointless that I brought that up. But this time, it was kind of known that I had some anxiety issues, right? So they put me in a little counselor full of weirdos, basically. A weirdo class.
Were you with the retarded kids that got lost?
No,
is this where this is going?
It wasn't
Is that why you mentioned it?
Look, I got lost and it wasn't good. That's why I'm here. It's actually not my home. Anyway, it wasn't a retard room, but it was just kind of like a console room where you talk about your problems and shit, right?
You weren't going to hear no Cumbia Kings.
It was like the Losers Club. No, we would probably hear some like Cumbia All-Stars, but not Cumbia Kings.
Close enough.
Anyway, everybody was having their little moment, and me being the stubborn asshole, I would never say anything, right? But that was kind of like a thing. Like, you just get out of class and sit there. Anyways, this chick who I kind of liked, in fact, I thoroughly liked, little German chick, had a weird last name that I can't pronounce. Anyway, little chubby little German chick was always next to me.
Oh, chubby, you're the chubby chaser.
Yeah.
See it all come full circle now.
Anyway, she was cool. We were always like talking shit
Mm-hmm.
about the other losers. Like, oh, that guy got beat. It was a freaking loser. Just kidding, that never happened. But kind of. Anyway, we were friendly, right? For the longest, and we were in the same class. In fact, we didn't even talk before that until we met in that group, and they were like, "Oh shit, we're in the same class." Cool. When we had that thing, and my table, we were kind of separated into tables of 4. We had this thing where like it's kind of cringy, but at the time it was cool. Where you're kind of like always looking at each other and doing like weird little moves, little mime moves and shit.
What the fuck? It's the worst shit ever.
They're all like looking at each other and the freaking thing and doing like little, like communicating through movements, I guess. This is the worst description of it.
Yeah, this is like ape level shit.
It was a thing though, right?
What else did you do? Like beat clubs and
Yeah, we did.
fucking stink twigs and anthills and shit?
Yeah. Anyway, always looking at each other is basically what I was trying to say. I should have just said that.
Yes, versus
the Quebec, it fits into the Quebec Kings though.
yeah, you were a tard.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
you're a tard.
My little, that's another tale. My little neighbor who was a lady was not into that, which was weird.
What? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Where's this going?
This is another tale.
No, don't get into another tale. Finish your fucking tale.
Yeah, that's another tale. Anyway, she was not into that. Anyway,
What? That just confused the fuck out of me. You're talking to this chick across the room in tard signals, and then some fucking lady didn't like that.
Yeah, there was another lady that I would talk to a lot in my table, and she was not into that.
Into the tard signal.
Into the communications with.
Okay, now
I'm
it
just
makes
gonna call her
sense.
Sam because that was her name.
All right.
Who wasn't into that. But that,
Sam,
again, that's
Sam was a guy, by the way.
yeah. It's not related, but that is another separate tale, which I guess kind of interconnects. Anyway, every time after school, I would pick up her massive sack that was a backpack, super heavy, and carry it to outside, right? And she would leave, and we'd just talk on the way over there, because for some reason this place was humongous. One time, I don't know, maybe this. Anyway, one time I carried her sack up there, and I carried it all the way to the car, and her mom was there. First time I ever saw her mom. Her mom kind of looked like the big blob creature in Blade.
Oh, God.
Yeah, kind of like that, only more.
Was she wearing lederhosen?
I was about to say a lot more German. In fact, when I carried the thing up there and put the backpack in there, I heard some loud Nazi-like German screaming at me, and I was like, "The flip!" And Sam's like, "Oh, don't worry, she's just mad." And I'm like, "This is all making sense while you're in that group, by the way." Anyway, that happened a couple more times, like literally 2 more times, and after that, she wouldn't talk to me at all. Nothing happened. Nothing different happened. It was literally after I met her mom. Zero communication. Nathan!
Maybe you didn't meet the standards of the Aryan race.
I'm assuming that's what happened. And it sucked, dude, because you do that thing where you're waiting, because we had a spot where you would wait. And no one would come. And I was like, oh, licking my wounds and shit.
Meanwhile, Sam was in the car with her mother, and she was hearing Van der Führer wir bist die Master Race will heil, heil. That's the caption. I mean, that's the shot for the fucking screenshot.
Now the weird part is, again, this girl was kind of like super nice, super kind of like. There's nothing weird about her, right?
Mm-hmm. Except for the fact that her mom was a
Nazi.
Was apparently a Nazi.
But I looked her up when I came back over here a couple of years later. I looked her up on Facebook.
Creepy stalker status. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked for a long time. Finally found her, or at least someone who had the same name and somewhat resembled her.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was the same person, she definitely went down a weird spiral of depression and weird self-harm. So that's not good. But again, I can't confirm whether it's her or not. It just kind of resembled her. It had the same name, which again was a weird-ass last name.
Well, if her fucking mom was Ilse Koch, probably was her.
Yeah. So that sucks.
Okay, that's a pretty good tale. Well, since you had a tale about a weird Nazi experiment, my final tale will be one about a literal fucking hobbit.
All right.
Now, before you go, what the fuck? Oh, feel free to. But anyway, the point is, I was already working, and shit, I don't know. It was like 4 or 5 years into, maybe a little bit less into this job I had, and warehousing work and all that crap. And one day, well, I shouldn't say that, but I got along pretty damn well with one of the females that worked there. Exceptionally well. Like, the whole fucking making a chick laugh thing works is what I'm saying here, right? But she was much older than I was. Like, at the time, I was in my early 20s, man. Maybe like 22, 23, something like that. And she was, I believe, 38 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty big age difference. Not that I give a fuck. I don't care. But on top of that, she already had kids. Which is kind of like, damn, that fucking sucks. But I dug her. She was really cool. It was just that always kind of stopped me from keeping it anything but friendly. And she would lay on the suggestions heavy from, like, shit, man, almost the beginning. Anyway, yeah, I was relatively young because I remember Lord of the Rings had just come out on home media, which back then was an actual phrase.
Yeah.
It's on home media, fellows. Catch it on VHS or Betamax. No, yeah, man. So that was around that time. I was relatively young. Maybe even younger than 22. The point is, I mentioned that because I gave her the nickname Frodo because she fucking looked like Elijah Wood. Right. Now, you might think, gross, but have you ever looked at Elijah Wood?
He's very
feminine. Did you just say hot?
I was gonna say he's I was gonna say he's very.
No, you said hot.
I was gonna say he's very feminine, but for some reason he's hot came up.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you
let that go.
If you, like you said, if you slap on some like long hair on him, he looks like a chick.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna
not a hot chick.
Okay.
Woo!
Dug that hole for yourself.
Dug
but anyway,
my little hobbit hole.
Fucking, she looked like Frodo in the face, like big time, right?
Frodo in the face.
And on top of that, she was fucking short, dude. Yeah. Now I'm relatively tall, especially where we live. But she was like easily like 4 foot something. She was very short.
Hobbit-like.
Very Hobbit-like, and she looks like fucking Frodo.
Had hairy feet.
So I called her Frodo, and again, we got along kind of like how I got along with the Pearl chick from the first video. Very friendly, kind of joshing at each other, poking at each other, but always in that humorous, almost flirtatious way. So she took to the name. She didn't hate the name, and she thought it was funny and what have you. And she used that to kind of amplify her flirtatious advances towards me to boot. Anyway, because of the whole she has a kid and she's 1,000 thing, I never went beyond that though. Even though I know that any time I could just, fucking...
You kind of crawled up in that hobbit hole.
Definitely. But anyway,
gross.
There was these dudes that worked in the warehouse with me a lot, and one of them kept on talking about how he would bang her, right? And I didn't believe his little stories of bravado because it just didn't have the air of her. Not that I was like putting her on a pedestal or anything. It just didn't have the air of her. And his best friend told me, nah, he's fucking lying, dude. He wants to, but he ain't hitting that. And unbeknownst to me, his friend was telling me that because of what he knew about the chemistry between me and her. Anyway, somehow the little story spread around the whole place, and she got wind of it. And one day I'm there hanging out with her, and she goes, hey, it's not true, right? And I'm like, what? And she tells me these stories that this guy's telling, and I'm like, oh shit, no, don't worry about it. I don't even care if it is or it isn't, but I don't think it is, and that's cool. And I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. I mean, I was handled well. Again, if this would have been any other situation, I'm on the right track. But again, the whole kids and all that thing is stopping me. Anyway, one day, this goes on for fucking ever, to the point where she asked grandma about my fucking status of singleness.
Yeah.
And grandma's like, yo, this bitch want to hump you. And I'm like, damn it, fucking granny knows. Like, she was all fucking for it too, cause I guess she wanted me to get laid. But the point is,
grandma was cock blocking the shit out of me back in the day.
She wasn't cock block, she was fucking wingmanning for me.
Damn.
Anyway, fucking
Anyway,
one day, it was New Year's Eve, and this was time had passed, and this flirtation has continued. It was New Year's Eve, and I get a call when the fucking, when it's New Year's literally day. So it's midnight is what I'm saying here. And of course back then didn't have a cell phone, and I got calls on fucking, well, I didn't have a phone in my place. The phone was at grandma's place, which is next door. So old granny comes over, hobbles over, and she's like, hey, you got a call? And I'm like, eh. So I go over, pick up the horn, and I'm like, what the fuck's up? Because who the fuck is going to call me, right? Well, it's fucking Frodo. And she's basically saying...
She goes, hey, can you help me carry this ring to Mount Doom?
Yeah, and I did. It was not good. No, but, yeah, it's Frodo, dude. And she's clearly, like, shit-faced.
Yeah.
Like, slurring bad. And she just lays it all on the line. Flat. Like, you're going to bone me, like, 24/7 right now.
All right.
That would have been a more subtle way of her saying it. And I'm like, oh, Happy New Year.
All right.
Yep. But see, here...
Happy New Year?
Yep. I was like, nope. But see, the other stories have been more about regret, about what could have been, or, there were nice girls. And this was a nice girl too, but I had like zero interest in her.
All right.
In that sense. And I was like, nope. Hang up. And unlike the other girls, she continued to be pretty forward and flirtatious and all that shit. Ignored it. She ignored the fact that she called me on New Year's Eve, which is good, because if she would have brought it up, I'd be like, hey, you know what? You were drunk. It's cool, man. But she just ignored it and just continued until she eventually moved on to another job. And even then, you know what? Even then, now that I remember, even then, about maybe like 6-8 months after she had moved, she still called me up and was like, what up?
Mount Doom?
And I was like, nope.
All right.
So the whole point of that was I could have banged Frodo.
Yeah.
But that's a thing I don't want to do.
Which apparently is the thing I want to do.
Yep. So that's gross. Anyway.
I have one, I'll throw these last two in there.
All right.
Just because they're kind of quick. I have one that's somewhat similar. And there was this chick in school who I didn't want to bang per se, but okay, the reason why I befriended her was because everybody looked down on her for some reason, like big time.
White knighting.
No, it was like bullying, like freaking for no reason. And I was like, all right, I'm fat, I've been there, let's be friends, right? So we were friendly. That's it, friendly. I wouldn't hit it, but we were friendly. And we were like talking and shit. Anyways, this other chick I was kind of into, and I guess she told the chick that everybody hated that I liked her in an attempt to throw me under the bus for some reason. I don't know why. And the chick was like, literally, I'm doing my little work. She comes in and she goes, "Yo, I'm gonna go to the restroom, meet me in 10 and we'll bang." And I was like, nope. That was my reaction. I was like, yeah, cool. Didn't go. That was weird, dude. I was like, no.
What'd she say after that?
She just comes in and goes to the chair, and we hardly ever talked before. We would talk occasionally, and it would always go to some weird sexual place. And I was like, all right. You're kind of weird. You're cool, mind you. Somewhat cool, but definitely a weird one. Kind of see why people dislike you. Now, I didn't dislike her, but That was bizarre. I was like, what is up with that, dude? Thought we were just friends here. Mind you, I would hit you, but the fact that it was presented this way is a big red flag to me. Now I'm like, damn, I should hit that dude. And at this point, I'll take dirt in the old wang.
And you do, which explains the holes in the yard.
Yep.
It's pretty gross.
It's not prairie dogs, it's my ding. So yeah, that was a fast one. That's somewhat related to Frodo, except not. I do want to throw this last factoid in. One time she went, for some reason, again, weird chick, went to school in a cheerleader outfit for no reason. She wasn't a cheerleader.
The fuck?
And at one point she lifted her arm and there was long, not like armpit hair, not like regular armpit hair, it's kind of like bushy. It was long, would look like stylized armpit hair.
The fuck?
Like, you know the little curls chicks do?
Yeah.
Like that on the armpit. Going up the arm.
What the?
That was weird. I was like, did you do that intentionally? Or is it like sweaty down there? Or either way, here's a razor.
That's incredibly sexist of you, sir. Fuck it.
It was weird. Gross. Especially because she was like, it was 4th grade, so she was super young.
Maybe she was coming too young.
I guess. Man, apparently she wanted that D too. Anyway, last one. I want to explain the chick that I mentioned before in my previous tale. Because I felt like I left a little cliffhanger that I don't want to leave. Because this was an interesting tale. Again, we were in tables of 4. And there was this one chick who sucked donkeys and no one liked. Because she sucked. She was like judgmental piece of shit. Like if you did anything, she'd be like drinking a little tea and shit. She sucked. But that's not important. That's not the chick I'm talking about. I was another guy next to me I called him Pezzy because that was his last name. And I would always flick his ears and he hated me for it. Mind you, he would do the thing where you would grab... We had like a thing, like a hate relationship. Where
Is this relevant at all?
Kind of.
Okay.
Where we'd kind of like torture each other, but it was kind of like...
mutual.
Friendly torture, yeah. And another chick, the last chick, who didn't love Pezzy, but she got along with Pezzy. And got along really well with me. In the classroom. Specifically in the classroom. Got along so well that we developed this kind of grotesque game that I think of now. It's kind of gross. Where we were so bored because there was nothing to do. You would like stick a little piece of paper in your mouth and shoot it into his mouths.
What?
Yeah, it was weird. And that was the thing that we would do. Just like shoot shit into his mouths for fun, right? And laugh. And like have a comradic relation. I don't know if that's a word.
And then you got AIDS.
And then I got AIDS and I died. Anyway, once the Sam equation got entered, she was displaying this kind of like jealousy thing. Freaking doing little stabs at me and shit. I was like, what's up with that? The reason why this is weird is because anytime outside of the classroom, she would not freaking acknowledge my existence. And I'm like, what the... Like, literally, like, I could be in front of her.
We turned into Danny DeVito.
Dude,
what the...
I could be in front of her, tickling her taint, and she wouldn't acknowledge my existence. I was like, what? But the second we'll get in that classroom, freaking shooting shit into each other's mouths, freaking licking each other's assholes and shit. But the second we would leave, it was freaking I'm gone.
Yeah, I've been there.
It was weird.
I've had that.
It wasn't good.
You know what I said to that? Fuck that shit!
That's what I said. I was like, look, you're cool and all here. I'll do that shit here, but you ain't gonna be freaking sabotaging my chances with this chick who acknowledges me outside the... Then the Nazi came and ruined that. But anyway, I do... The last thing... Oh, she was hot, dude. Like, big time. Like, legit hot.
What is this? Playing the trumpet?
Imagine kind of like a little cholita chick, but like a hot one. And she wasn't a chola. She just kind of had that look. And her name is the last thing I want to give out because it was a bizarre name. And it was a Yomara.
Okay,
That's a weird name.
That's a story.
That's a weird name, isn't it?
I guess.
Anyway,
it's an awful name.
Yeah, it's a horrible name, but she was cool, and that's the story. What the flip, dude? Well, freaking sabotaging shit, and you're not even gonna acknowledge me. I'm freaking like ramming your a-hole basically, and you're just like, nope, no one's there. Freaking licked.
Well, that's chicks for you.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, actually, I know guys can be just as awful, but
Oh yeah, big time.
the point is, we fucking suck.
I would
That's
totally
the
hit.
fucking
I would
point.
totally hit her though. As in hit that, not hit her.
I mean, not anymore.
No, I'll probably hit that.
I mean, what if she's like? You
Oh,
know,
that's a good point. Yeah.
I was gonna say, what if she hadn't grown? But I'm trying to throw you back under that fucking bridge.
Look, back then I would totally hit that. Which
You don't have to clarify it
goes
anymore.
back.
Everybody understands.
It goes into that weird area where you're like looking back. I would hit that back then.
No, it doesn't. It's like me. It's like me when I was a kid
Uh-huh.
and I watched The Exorcist.
You would hit that.
I was like, man, Regan's pretty fucking hot.
Yeah.
I'd hit that. It's not weird. I was a fucking kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not fucking weird at all. But you just made it weird. I try to joke about it to make it like obvious, and then you just dug your hole back.
No, I didn't. I'm like, yeah.
There's no need to explain it if it's fucking obvious.
Yeah.
But anyway,
At the time, I would hit that.
yes,
To clarify, asterisk.
everybody understood that.
Everybody understood that. Why are you explaining it?
Anyway, this has been a Having the Goontech ranting idiotically for ages. And I just burped in my mouth.
Yeah.
Tasted like crap. Anyway, hit like, share, subscribe, notification buttons. Tell us some stories of your own, because we're out.